Alright, apparently got a lot to talk about today, but one more of these things. For this one, I want to talk about another one of these kind of letter and number symbology, or really word symbology. Because I've been thinking about this a lot, and these ideas of like Babel, and how, a lot of languages theoretically all split from a very similar spot. Kind of like maybe the phonetics had a basic meaning back in the day, and then a lot of our words have kind of been built out of that idea. And one idea of these was this idea of like two words that are very similar, live and love. And you can kind of look at them, and the only letter difference is an I versus an O. But in many ways, that is very indicative of what the difference between those ideas is. The LVE part, that's maybe a little more dicey. But, you look at it and like love is in many ways, it's about openness. It's about looking at life and being like, wow, there's all this crazy stuff in life, and there's all this, beautiful, interesting things to explore, and that basically, can fill me with happiness and joy, and you kind of wonder and all that. And whether that's like, people that you love, or whether it's, stuff you in love, or like experiences, or whatever. But, it's that idea. It's that idea of being open to life, and then basically going and experiencing life. And kind of letting life fill you in some sense. But then the other one, living, in many ways, that's often about you. It's about I. Because a lot of it is like, sure, there's a lot of life, and there's a lot of life that's, pretty awesome. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to you and your life, too. And if you're not happy with your life, or you're not enjoying your life, a lot of that, maybe not all of it, but a lot of that is you. In many ways, you could argue it's actually all, because many of the things that make you unhappy are, you could look at them and be, could I do something about that? Could I change that? And it kind of becomes, again, it's an I thing. You could fix the relationship that's kind of being a problem. You could fix the work stuff that's, causing you distress. You could get things done that are basically kind of dragging on you, whatever. It's, it's I. You could get rid of those things and then basically be happier. But a lot of the time, it's like, you kind of have to go uphill into something that basically is painful. And oftentimes that sucks. But, again, for like the live idea, much of that is then saying, okay, well, what do I want out of life? What do I want basically, from this experience that I'm having? And then basically saying, okay, well, what is it going to basically be to do that? Do I want to like travel more? Okay, well then, the I part of that would basically be like going and actually traveling. I don't know, going and seeing more places, going and basically like, buying those tickets you've been talking about and actually, going out and doing it. Maybe living is like, I don't know, you want to get more tail, or like go talk to at least more of the opposite or something like that. So again, though, that's part of like, okay, well, what are the steps that are necessary to go do that? And then, going and doing it and living and, actually doing that thing that you're basically wanting to do. And I say this and then it's always vaguely hypocritical because it's a lot easier to say than it is to do. But still, it's that basic idea. It's kind of like whatever it is that, you think you really do want out of life, and then kind of looking at it being like, well, okay, why not? Why aren't you doing that? Why are you sitting in the spot you're at right now rather than doing what I guess I would call living? Actually going out and doing that thing that would basically complete I-ness for you. That if you're a John, it would be Johnness, or, cat, it would be catness, or whatever. But it's, that idea of, like, whatever it is that makes you you, then basically trying to explore that and fulfill that and, like, make it, more. And then it's kind of like trying to get a balance. It's like all these things in life. It's like this black-white idea. It's like you need some of, like, me and I, and then you need some of the O and openness. You need kind of, like, experiencing of life, and, like, it can't all be just like, it's me. Because then after a while it becomes kind of like you as an island. But, similarly, if it's all just like, world, give me whatever, it can be good. And it can be a way to kind of, get to that, like, Buddhist, like, child openness. But at the same point, it can also, like, often lead you down a place where it's like, you're just kind of going whatever. Your life ends up kind of being meandery rather than being, like, having a direction. And, maybe you find living in love, but, sometimes you need a little bit of both, maybe some guidance. And it seems like that's what a lot of this is. It's like this idea of, like, holding on, but still being open at the same time somehow. It's tough. Anyways, all for that.